What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video. In today's video, I want to discuss a very simple topic. I want to talk to you about the saying that I'm sure you've heard before when referring to the dating pool or today's dating pool, right? I'm sure you've seen it before online. There's a whole bunch of memes. There's a whole bunch of websites and articles that are talking about how terrible today's dating pool actually is, right? Everybody loves to complain on the internet and talk about things like, like the dating pool is so terrible. And it's, I just want to understand, just want you to understand is that, it's not like, because we tend to always see, the situation from only our perspective, right? So like men are sitting there and they're going, the dating pool is terrible. Women these days are, X, Y, and Z. They don't want to be in relationships, or they don't have the qualities that men are looking for in today's relationship, or whatever that is, right? So men are sitting there complaining about the quality of the dating pool when it comes to women. And then women are sitting on the other side of that and are complaining about the exact same things, mostly about the exact same issues, about men. And it's always, interesting if maybe the word I would use is maybe funny, but it's always interesting to me to look into that and see like, this is the dating pool, the dating pool that's basically comprised of both men and women who are currently single and, want to be in a relationship. And this is what the dating pool is comprised of. And if you ask, each of these individual people, both men and women, like I said, equally in this dating pool, if you ask them individually, they'll tell you, right, 99.9% of the time that they are a great catch, that they have all these, amazing qualities that they're looking for, outside of themselves, that they're looking to find, yet they are unable to find in that dating pool, right? That they have all these qualities, that they are a good communicator, that they are attractive, that they take care of themselves, that they're, good with their finances, that they have, everything kind of like set up in their lives in a way that would, welcome someone to come into their lives, that they are, honest and they know how to communicate and all of these amazing qualities, right? Everybody would like to think that they have all of these amazing qualities and that, they bring a lot to the table. Yet, what's interesting is that, these same people in that same pool are basically complaining about each other, right? So if you're there in that dating pool and you have all of these amazing qualities and you ask the next person beside you and they believe that they also have all of these amazing qualities, and you ask, just as much women as you would ask men, and they both believe that they have all of these amazing qualities, then where is that terrible dating pool is? If everybody individually, has so much to offer, right? And are looking for real things and are honest about it and all of these amazing things, right? Like, why is the dating pool then considered to be so awful, so horrible these days, right? There's a whole bunch of memes that I see like, oh, somebody peed in the dating pool. And people love to perpetuate, right? And talk about all of these ideas. And the reason why I kind of have three words for you, why there are so many articles, why there are so many memes, why so many people like to, on social media especially, like to perpetuate the idea that the dating pool is so awful today. And that is, again, I have three words for you, misery loves company, right? People love to complain about these things, and people love to cope with the fact that they're not getting certain things throughout their lives, and not just in dating, but in any area of their lives. People love to use, right, like that misery and the fact that there are other people who are also not getting it. People love to use complaining to cope with that, because it's so much easier, right? If you think about it. And I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be make you feel bad or whatever, but I just want you to understand that, it's so much easier to say that something is, oh, it's too difficult, or put the accountability or the responsibility on something or someone else, right? It's so much easier, whether as a man or a woman, like to say, if I'm a man and I'm not getting what I want, to say that, you know what, it's just impossible these days. It's obviously not me because I'm so amazing. It's obviously just impossible because modern dating is horrible, or because women these days are terrible, or because, dating apps messed it all up for us, or because, whatever it is. And I want you to understand that it's not unique to like our generation or like today's dating or like modern dating in 2020, whatever year you're watching this, right? It's not unique to us, right? If you look at like 20 years ago, people used to complain about dating, and 30 years ago, people used to complain about dating, and 40 years ago, people used to complain about dating. There was always a reason to complain about dating, just like there was always a reason to complain about, the economy. There was always reason to complain about like all of these things that people, tend to struggle with, right? Which it's only normal for us to, as human beings, like, right, to want to complain about things that are not going well, right? But there are always going to be people who are building these healthy relationships, are extremely happy with them, and there are are always going to be people who are currently not in that relationship. And unfortunately, some of these people, instead of looking within themselves and internally and taking accountability for the part that they play and looking for, practical ways, right, in order to adjust their own approach, to adjust their own strategies, to approach how they do that thing instead of doing the same thing over and over and over again, exactly the same way and expecting a different result. Instead of doing that, it is so much easier. It is so much more convenient, right, to just complain about it, right? And then if you complain enough about it, especially using social media or like going on, writing articles or, whatever, it's so much easier because you'll always find other people who are going to be like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, people relate to that because again, people love, it's the easiest thing to do, right? It's the easiest thing to do is just to put the accountability on someone or something else. So it's either that specific person, or is it men in general, or is it maybe men or women in my city, which is something I hear a lot as well, right? I can't date anyone in my city. Like, Lion, have you tried dating in Miami or New York? Or have you tried dating in San Francisco? Have you tried dating in a small town somewhere? Or have you, I coach people all over the US and in a whole bunch of different places around the world. And it doesn't matter where they're from, whether they're from like, Croatia, from Australia, from, London, or from, big cities in the US or even small cities in the US. Everybody's convinced that their city is like literally the worst place in order to be able to date. That's the there are no good men, there are no good women out there. It's just, right? And again, it's always comes from the same place. Always comes from a place of like, I just want to take that accountability from me and put it on something else. So it's either my city, or it's either just a specific person that messed it all up for me, or it's dating apps, right? Again, it doesn't have to be like a specific person or a group of people. It could be. And again, I want to tell you that both men and women do the exact same thing, the exact same, avoidance or avoiding that accountability. And both men and women are complaining about the same thing. Right? And if you're listening to this and you're new to my channel, you don't know who I am. My name is Lion. I'm a dating coach, right? And I've at this point coached over, I think, maybe close to 1,400. So it was 13 something, so close to 1,400 women. And I've also been on both sides of that. I've been the guy who used to complain specifically about dating. And I said, dating is, evil. And then through my own personal journey of finding specific ways that I could just make sure that I'm getting what I want without, blaming other people, but by taking radical accountability for the part that I'm playing in my dating life, right? What am I doing? Because I am the common denominator. So if I keep attracting people who, don't want what I want, or give me a certain type of behavior that I'm not looking for, or, whatever that is, then instead of learning the wrong lesson, which is like, oh, every person or every woman that, out there just looks for that, understanding that, hey, I have a part in this too. And if I show up a certain way, people will treat me a certain way. So if I keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, I should not be expecting a different result. And the moment when I started realizing that is when I started changing my own strategy and learning, right, that trial and error, right? Finally, I came to a point where I've been able to enjoy the dating process, right? Enjoy meeting new people, enjoy like the entire thing. And the pool didn't seem to be so bad, right, at that point. And come to a point where I am and have built that relationship that I really wanted. And I've also been on both sides of that coin with my clients as well, talking to clients or starting to coach clients that have come from situations where they literally despise the entire dating process, or maybe have even given up on the dating process altogether, and bring them to a place where they, first of all, enjoy. Because my biggest goal with my clients, first of all, is to make them or allow them, give them the tools in order to just enjoy the process, right? Because if you enjoy the journey, right, you're way more likely to actually reach to your destination. If you hate dating, chances are you won't do it long enough in order to find that person and build the relationship that you truly want. But if you start loving the process itself and enjoy the dating process, then you'll probably do it. Not only will that energy, that positive energy will start attracting positive experiences and positive people, but you'll also do it for long enough in order to finally attract and build and find that relationship with the person that you truly want, right? So again, I've been on both sides of that coin, so I've seen that, right? And it's so much easier to just cast blame. It's so much easier to just, complain about things. It's so much easier, and you'll always find, right, other people who are willing to complain as well. This is something that it's because it's the easiest thing that as a human being we can possibly do in any area of our lives, right? Doesn't matter if it's the economy, doesn't matter if it's like the job market or whatever. If I'm out there and there's a whole bunch of people who are building amazing, beautiful careers these days and making a whole lot of money and are really happy with their lives, there are also going to be people who are not, right? Who are convinced that today's economy is terrible, that it's impossible to find a good job, or it's impossible to make money these days, or it's impossible to whatever. They're going to people who are literally proving you wrong and are doing all of these things and are living that life, right? They're not complaining, right? Because they're adjusting their strategies. They are moving forward. Those who are complaining are basically just cutting themselves. They say that complaining is literally robbing yourself of the possibility of change, right? If you choose to complain, if you choose to just blame something or someone else, you are literally robbing yourself from the possibility, from the ability to change something about it, to actually do something that will give you a different result, right? Because, and again, it's a very easy thing to fall into, right? The complaining mode and just saying, you know what? No, it must be the dating pool. Somebody peed, and the more ridiculous and funny and meme like it sounds, it almost, right? They say that the things that just sound good or just things that rhyme, right? People believe them more because they sound more truthful just because they rhyme, or because they're funny, or because, right? So somebody says something like, somebody peed in a dating pool, and everybody's like, oh yeah, that's so true. That's, again, just because it sounds really cool. It sounds nice. It sounds horrible, but at the same time, it's clever, right? So people love that, and they automatically would just associate that with the truth. Right? But I will tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you, right? It is like the dating pool or whatever that is, right? Your dating life, your love life, just like any other area or part in your life, it's exactly what you make of it, right? Your career, your fitness goals, your health, your, whatever it is, that it's exactly your friendships, your business, it's everything is exactly what you make of it, and how you show up to it, right? Your, not only your energy and your perspective, but also your know-how, right? Knowing how to navigate, right? Dating, just like knowing how to navigate all of these other areas of our lives, right? There's a right and wrong way to go out about your career and build a career that you really want. There's a right or wrong way to, build the relationships that you truly want, right? Because so many people come to me and they learn the wrong lessons. They go out there and be like, well, I've tried. I've tried. I've been, dating, I've been trying to date men for the past 5 years. And every guy that I meet only wants to sleep with me and nothing else. This is a comment that I literally got today on my Instagram when I posted a video about this topic, right? I guess it was really hard for me to just reply this in a very short message here. So I'm answering your question. If you're watching this from Instagram, right? Like literally, like what I said in the video, like applies to you specifically. If you go out there, and you obviously, I'm sure, know people who are in happy relationships around you, right? Whether that's your brothers, your sisters, your friends, your, whatever it is, right? You've seen people on, you see on TV. Like, there are people who are in happy relationships. So that means it's possible, right? So if you're putting it, to find people who want more than just sex, who want more than just to sleep with you, more than just to use you for your body or for whatever other reason, right? So it obviously exists out there. So if you're not attracting that, there's definitely something about you. And it's not about casting blame. It's not about saying you're just a horrible person. You could be an amazing person, but how you show up, right? Your strategy, right? How you present yourself. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're, again, a terrible person. It could really come down to simple things like, the boundaries that you're setting, the types of conversations that you have, early on the first date, before the first date, on the second date, on the third date, right? They encourage certain types of behavior that you might not necessarily want, that you're doing subconsciously, that you might not even realize that you are doing. You know what I mean? How you show up, where and how you're dating, right? Like how you position yourself, how you approach, online dating and dating apps, how you approach offline dating. Where do you meet people? It has a huge, impact and influence over the kind of quality of not only people, but also behavior that you're going to be potentially attracting, right? So again, all of that, it really comes down to the know-how and accepting the fact that just like so many other areas of our lives, like dating is undeniably a skill. There is a way that you can navigate dating in order to maximize your chances to get what you want. And there's ways that will continue putting you on the path where you are frustrated, when you are not attracting the type of people or, again, behavior that you're looking for. Another thing that I want to say, and this is something I feel like so many people struggle with, and that is the understanding the concept that, as human beings, right? And this is true for both men and women, right? As human beings, we don't just treat everyone around us exactly the same way. Right? Like I've been the guy who's like, every time like they're going to, I'm going to do this. As a woman, you watching this, right? And I'm saying I'm talking specifically mostly to women because my audience is primarily female, if you don't already know, but like You can check out my content on Instagram, on TikTok, here on YouTube, and my audience is 95 to 97% female, and that's why I'm addressing myself more to women, right? Because some people that are not following me comment like, "Why are you addressing to women? Like men have to." It's not because I'm only thinking that certain issues are only applicable to women. Like I said before, I feel like these things they're universal. They apply to men just as much as they do to women. The reason why I address to women mostly is because that's my audience. But if you're a woman and you would be honest with me, like as you're sitting there watching this, right? I'm sure there have been men in your life who you don't give a chance to, right? There are men who approached you, maybe approached you very nicely and wanted to get your number, wanted to take you out on a date, and they just got a straight up no from you, right? That you don't give them the time of the day. And I'm sure there are other men, right, that you have, pursued yourself and you wanted to get their number, right? Again, so like you treat different people very differently, right? I'm sure there are going to be guys in your life throughout your lives, for the most of you, that you have dated for months and months on end and never even slept with them, right? You're like, nah, I'm not really that interested, or you were really strong with your boundaries back then. But there were other men in your life that you slept with on the first date, right? Or maybe even it wasn't a date. Maybe you just met them somewhere and you slept with them. Again, maybe it doesn't apply to every single one of you watching, but what I'm trying to say is that as a human being, right, as human beings, both men and women, we don't treat everyone the same way. So what I want to tell you about men, right, is that, again, we subscribe to that as well. Like, we don't treat every woman exactly the same way. I'm going to tell you one thing, and I want you to just, remember this. Like, the same guy, the same exact man is going to treat two different women very differently at the exact same time. The same guy is going to meet one girl today, and he's going to want to do nothing but to sleep with her and never call her back, and just purely just for pleasure, purely just to, and he's going to want a relationship with another woman the next day. Right? So if you are out there and you say to yourself, like, every guy that I meet only wants to sleep with me, it doesn't necessarily mean that that man that you met that only wanted to sleep with you only wants to sleep with every girl out there. Just like there are, for the guy who met you and you wanted nothing to do with him, he's going to be like, listen, women don't want relationships. Women don't want to, serious whatever. And I was looking for something serious. Again, if he's going to learn the wrong lesson, he's going to believe that every woman just wants, whatever. But the truth is that you might really, really want that serious relationship. You just don't want it with him. So again, it's not about casting blame, but it is about taking accountability, and it is about learning what you need to do in order to still get what you want. To accept what you cannot change around you, right? And you can't change the fact that there are dating apps out there, whether you love it or not. You can't change the fact that that's how we date these days. You can't change the fact that there's a whole bunch of things out there that you cannot change, right? But focus and work on the things that you can. And what you can change is your own approach. That's the only thing that you can influence. That's the only thing that you can change. You can't change what men do or don't do, or human beings do or don't do. You can't change what women do or don't do, or people understand or don't understand. You can't change that. You have no effect on that. You have absolutely no way to influence or change that. But what you can 100% change and control is your own approach. What you need to do in order to still get what you want based on the current reality of what's out there, of the world, of the dating pool, of whatever it is, right? And I can guarantee you 1,000% that there is a scenario that you are getting what you want, the type of relationship that you truly, really want, that you truly, really deserve. There is a way to get that. And I know for a fact, because I've guided so many women by the hand, and we work together one-on-one for, sometimes months on end to really get them to a point where they're getting what they want. Right? So I can guarantee that you're going to get what you want, and you're going to build a healthier relationship with yourself and with other people. It is out there. It is 100% possible, right? But you have to stop yourself from casting blame or complaining about whatever it is, because again, when you start doing that, when you start, the dating pool is just terrible, it's just awful, or somebody peed in it, or whatever it is, or men these days are just blah, 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 or women these days are, horrible and awful. As soon as you start doing that, you're basically robbing yourself of the possibility of the ability to actually get what you want, because now you're just sitting there doing nothing new. You are either giving up on the entire on the entire pursuit of meeting someone and building a healthy relationship. You're either completely giving up on it altogether, and I've seen people like that in my comment section all the time, when they just go like, what, I'm just gonna give up on this. I'm just gonna be by myself. And again, you're not punishing anyone but yourself. The only person you're punishing is yourself by saying that I'm not going to go after something just because I'm too frustrated that, with my approach so far, right? So they're either giving up on it altogether or they're learning the wrong lesson, right? And they're like, oh, people are just terrible. And they develop that negativity, that negative energy, right? Like how many times have you met someone who was, on a first date, that they were just very negative? You know what I mean? That it not only reflected in the questions they were asking, but it was in their body language, it was in their entire approach. And that negativity is the biggest turnoff. As soon as you feel that, as soon as you taste it in the air, you want to be out the door, right? You never want to go on a second date with someone who just approaches, dating or approaches you or their first date with that negativity, with that negative energy. And what do they see? Like the person with that negativity, to them it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. They come up with that negativity, like, oh, nobody wants to be in a relationship, nobody's serious about this, women are terrible, blah blah blah, and then you ghost him, and then you never call him back, or you don't really want to go out with him on a second date, and you come up with an excuse of why you can't, or you're just telling him that you're not interested. What do they do? What does he do? He basically just goes, see, I knew it. I knew that and that negativity grows even bigger and bigger and bigger within him. So I don't want you to do that. This is the whole purpose of this entire rant, of this entire video, is to tell you, hey, it's what you make of it. And if you approach it with negativity, you will continue attracting negativity. It will become that self-fulfilling prophecy. And you will basically just more and more will believe that it's everything around you that's terrible, except for you, right? Which again, it's nice to feel that for a limited amount of time, but in the long run, that's just robbing you of the possibility of living the life that you really want to live and living through the things that you really want to live, building that relationship that you really want to build, right? It's robbing you of the ability to do that. And that's sad, right? And it really starts with you. It really starts with, first of all, your perspective and understanding that, hey, you know what? If I'm getting the same exact result every single time, then I'm the common denominator. If every single person that I'm meeting, let's say just wants to sleep with me or whatever that, is that you don't like, or the type of behavior or the type of people that you don't like, whatever it is, if I constantly put myself out there and I'm getting the exact same results, right? The only common denominator of all of these different experiences, of all of these different dating experiences is me. So I'm doing or not doing something consciously or subconsciously, because again, for the most part, people don't even realize that they're doing something. And that's what the most difficult thing, because they go to themselves, no, like I have pure intentions and I want, something good. Like I'm not doing anything on purpose to ruin my chances. I'm not self-sabotaging, right? Why am I getting this? Most of the time, it's subconscious. Most of the time, it's the things that we even think that are helping us, that are actually hindering us, are holding us back from getting the type of results that we want to get. And this is literally what I do and why I do what I do, because we look at the specific situations that you have been living through in the past few months, in the past years or whatever. And we look at the specific things that you have done in the past. It's like, you know what? I think that's what this might be. This is where you're probably losing their attention. This is where that negativity, that desperation comes out. Maybe this conversation shouldn't be had there. Maybe this conversation should be had there. Maybe this conversation should be had at all at this point. Maybe this behavior or what you're doing right now, like you should not be doing, or you should be, adjusting your strategy a little bit. And this is literally where, dating becomes a skill, where you understand that there's, right or wrong way to do it. But most people, again, just, or a lot of people, at least those who subscribe to the idea that it's just the dating pool's fault, or it's just, dating apps' fault, or online dating, or whatever it is, like those who just cast the blame. For them, it's always all about, like, it's not me, it's someone or something else, and they're just going to continue attracting the exact same results. So hopefully this video gave you a little bit of value when it comes to just like, becoming critical about, like, just allowing that misery to rub off on you. Because again, it's very easy. It is a very easy cop out. It's very easy to just subscribe to the idea that there's something wrong with the world, that there's something wrong with men, that there's something wrong with, dating these days, or whatever that is, and that's why you're not getting what you want. It's so much easier to accept that than to accept the fact that, hey, you know what, maybe I'm not doing something. Even though I consider myself to be a good person, and even though my intentions are pure, and even though, you know what I mean, like all I'm trying to do is build a healthy relationship. I'm not trying to take advantage of people. I'm not trying to be a bad person. Like I'm good, you know what I mean? It's so difficult sometimes to accept that and still accept that there still might be things that you might not be doing the right way, that is attracting not only the wrong type of people, but again, like I mentioned before, it could be the same person, but attracting the wrong type of behavior from the same people. Because like I said, and I've lived through this multiple, countless times throughout my life. When the exact same people that I used to really despise and dislike, and I used to blame for a lot of my hardship and my frustrations in my life. Once I've changed my approach and how I approach the situation and how I approach them, right? Their behavior towards me completely flipped around and changed, right? And that respect that I was craving, that I thought I was never going to get from them just because I thought that they are not respectful or they're not able to respect another person, they started giving me more respect than I ever, anticipated, right? Because they were giving it to someone else in the same time that they were not giving it to me. So it really came down to adjusting how I show up in these situations. And again, that's true whether in romantic situations, in friendships, in your relationship with your family, your relationship at work, your relationship with your business partners, right? How you show up and what you do and how you present yourself, right, will almost entirely affect what you're going to attract in these situations and what you're going to get out of these situations and out of these people. So hopefully this video was at least a tiny bit inspiring for those who have maybe been subscribing so far to the whole idea that dating is just a horrible place. Dating is awesome, and we have one life to live, and everything is. I'm not trying to sound cliche or anything, but being grateful for the fact that we can, we're at the point of our lives where we can go out there, connect with other people, and just enjoy each other's companies, and just being able to just feel that we're hopeful of building that relationship that we really want is really fun. It should be fun. It should be really an amazing experience. This is something that I'll be honest with you, like so many people miss when they are in relationships, like the ability to just go out there and meet new people and being hopeful about specific eventualities with these people. It's fun, and it's a fun part of life. You know what I mean? Dating is awesome, and I'm not saying that it's better than being in a relationship, but I'm saying that you should savor it. You should, if you're at that point, if you're at that stage in your life when you are in that dating pool, right? Your number one goal should be not to just, skip that and just be in a relationship, right? But is to learn how to savor that. Learn how to really enjoy that. And the more you start enjoying this, right? Like just like with anything else in our lives, whether it's within our careers, our jobs, or whatever it is, right? When we truly start just like enjoying the process and like we wake up in the morning, it's like, I love this and this is great. The results, the goals just tend to like happen to us, right? We just tend to happen to meet the right people. We just tend to happen to go on these amazing dates. That's the secret. Not to just sit there and blame other people and then try to find other people who are also as salty and miserable online and then just like, seeking the safety in numbers and be like, oh, see, I'm not the only one who suffers and looking for that to as a way to cope with the fact that we're not getting what we want. Because, that's possible. And I see tons of people doing that, but they're robbing themselves of that happiness and of the relationships that they really want. So hopefully this video inspired you to just put yourself out there and just look for and start asking the right questions. As I said before, if you are looking for any help with that, feel free to either comment on this video or go into the description of this video. I'll make sure to leave a link to the application to apply to get coaching with me. If you want to work with me, if you want me to help you and take you by the hand and see what you might be consciously or subconsciously doing right now that it's not getting you the result that you want, or maybe you want to discuss a specific dating situation that's holding you back or that's causing you a lot of frustration and you want to talk about that as well, you can fill out the form and I'll be more than happy to get back to you with some coaching options. I'll see you guys in my next video. Stay safe.